Right, fantastic. Once again, we are at it. Tonight, this morning, this afternoon, want to salute all of you wherever you're watching from. And I want us to just engage directly on what we have. Now, at times, it is good to stop whatever you're doing and do some kind of a recap. And therefore, if we are talking about linear equations, we started by looking at earlier on in the previous work, we talked about linear inequalities, and we went through the definition part of it, and it's not bad. Let's say we want to look at key areas like one, the definition, want to know what is a linear equation. So if we are talking about linear equation, it's good to think, what is this equation that we are talking about? What is this linear equation? Before we get to formation, you cannot form what you don't know. And therefore, it is quite important, it's very categorical, that you learn the definitions first. So, first things first. What is this linear equation? Guys, wherever you are, you can maybe do a Google, you can do a Google search, you can do your personal search and try to find out what is it. Now, just to be brief, linear equation is that equation which is algebraic in nature. And we know that algebraic equation is simply an equation that has unknowns. So in this case, linear equation is simply an algebraic equation, and this algebraic equation is in the form a b. Let's say, sorry, we can say it is in the form ax plus by is equals to c. Now, in this case, if we are talking about ax and by and c, what are these? Now, a, b are the coefficients of the unknowns. In this case, we are just saying our unknowns can be x or y. So c is a constant, is a real number. C is a real number. C is a real number. Real number like 10, 20, 100, 1,000, any number, any real number that you know. So C can be a real number. A and B is simply the coefficients of unknowns. And we are saying this is what we call the standard form. Standard form of what we call a linear equation. So if we are talking about a standard form of a linear equation, guys, wherever you are watching from, we're just talking about an equation in that form. Ax plus by is equals to a c. This is what we call, I repeat, is what we call a standard form of a linear equation. Now, what is this? We have said, I just want to be categorical here so that as we transit further, you are not supposed to be left behind. So, a linear equation, I repeat, is just an algebraic kind of an expression, algebraic expression that has exponents. Okay, that is also another thing that you are supposed to put into consideration. The exponents of the exponents of the terms, in an algebraic expression has 1. Exponent is simply the power. Now, earlier on, we talked about powers of numbers. For example, we say 2 raised to power 2 is just the same as 2 squared. So, the power of a linear equation should be 1. All the terms here, ax, bx, and a c, all the terms in the equation must have its exponent. All the power should be 1. So if you have that, then you have what we call a real definition of a linear equation. Now, let's get to formation. If you want to form a linear equation, what are you supposed to do? Number 1, you must do the following. Now, there is no specific formula, of course, of coming up with a linear equation. What we are just trying to say is we're just trying to give you hints that can help you to fathom, to understand, to form, to lay down any form of linear equation that you will come across. Now, number one thing that you're supposed to do, guys, you're supposed to ensure that you go through the statements critically. You critically analyze, critically do the analysis, analyze the statement. You critically analyze the statement. You ensure that the statement that you're going through, that statement is critically analyzed by your mind. I mean, you change all the literature in the question to become a mathematical statement. All the literature must be turned upside down into a mathematical equation. So the kind of English that is being used to bring out the whole issue should not be something to worry you. What you're supposed to do is to critically look at it, analyze the statement mathematically, and try to put every detail in order that is supposed to have. Then, of course, go ahead to do the formation into its simpler form, into its simpler way. Now, I want just to give an example so that you are not left behind. Let's have this kind of a statement. Uh, Jane, Jane has X years. Jane has X years. Fully stop. The sun has Y years. Y years. Now we're saying if both have 60 years, both of them have 60 years, what do? You'll be told to form a linear equation to represent form a linear equation to represent the information. Now, what you are supposed to know, and it is very key, is that all linear equations, if you graph them, you will get a straight line. That is also something very important. Graphing them. It was just an oversight. If you graph linear equations, you always get a straight line. So these are equations. I've said one, their exponent must be 1. The exponent of the terms that are forming up the equations must be 1. Exponent is simply a power. The power of the equation must be 1. Then 2, we are also saying that if you graph that linear equation, you will always get a straight line. Very key points to note there. So now let's come back to this one here. We want to come up with a solution of this. We have just said whoever that we are coming up with the name here, this person has X years. Jen has X years. Now, the sun has Y years. And we are saying both of them have 60. So we have said all the literature in the question does not really have to matter. What has to matter is for you to critically look at it, analyze the statement, and then come up with a mathematical statement. So here we have Jen is X. Yeah. And then the sun plus the sun, Y. Because we have said both. Both means we shall add, of course. So if we take the X for Jen, put together with Y, we get the 60. Now look at this. Here, the coefficient of X is 1. The coefficient of Y is 1. And we have a real value, a real number there. So this is an example of a clear kind of a linear equation. So you will have formed by just having this statement. You formed it. Now, I want you to pause and then try to form this one here. I want you to pause and try to form this one on your own. Right. I believe you've seen this, and therefore you can now form an equation, a linear equation. And we say the form of a linear equation is ax plus by plus c, plus by equals to c. So we're saying David bought mangoes, that is what he bought, and then we don't know, m is an unknown. It is an unknown. We don't know the total value. So we are just saying if we gave someone called that by that name, 5 of them, and remained with 15. You're told to form an equation that is a linear one that will help you to find the total amount of the mangoes that this guy had bought earlier. So what do you do in this case? Think you can pause and then try to solve. Now, if you check this, you just have to critically analyze the statement. That's what we said. 1, 2, try to put the statement in a mathematical kind of a relationship as per the directive on the question that you have. So in this case, we have David having M. So this is what he bought. M. Bought M. This is what he bought. He bought M. We don't know what M stands for. Then he gave away. Of course, those statements. Giving away means what? Giving away, what does that relate to? Mathematical. Mathematically, we said we only have 4 signs, which are very key. So if someone is giving away, that means whatever that you had is reducing. And to reduce is simply to subtract. So that means if we had M initially, so we had M, and then he's giving away 5, and we are saying he's going to remain with 15. So if you do that, of course, you will have completely solved. You'll have completely solved. So I want you to practice this on your own. Just maybe somewhere, just write somewhere, and then try to solve it out. This one here. Say, Kevin as K fruits. If he bought, I've said Kevin has K fruits. Now, if he bought 5 pence, 5 pence, and the cost of each fruit was 5 shillings. The cost of each fruit was 5 shillings, and the cost of each pen, cost of a pen was each. We normally just say at. Each one of them, let's say, was 10 shillings. At the end of the day, if he spent 200 shillings, he spent 200 shillings. Come up with an expression. To represent this information. Come up with an expression. We are saying that person that we have said, Kevin had K fruits, or David or whoever, K fruits. He bought K fruits at 5 shillings each. He also bought 5 pence at 10 shillings each. Now, at the end of the day, if he had to spend 200 shillings, represent the information in an equation, that is a linear equation, to give us the whole picture of, to relate the amount spent and the items that they were spent on. I believe you will be able to do it, and Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to share. Continue inviting friends to be part of this team. Shalom, shalom.